What's good, YouTube? We back. Y'all already know what it is. If y'all been watching my other videos, y'all already know I'm posting. I'm posting. And when I'm posting, I'm dropping damn videos. So like, comment, subscribe, and stop acting brand new. Damn. But anyway, y'all already see the title. I done seen this on TikTok. I done seen this everywhere on Facebook. I done seen this on Instagram. But the shit is so long, bro. The shit is like 5 to 10, 20 hours. The shit. I heard she got like 72 episodes. I heard Netflix about to pick it up. Look at it. I heard, but for real, I heard this is a long story, bro. So I'm about to just. I found the video that should be quite, smaller in extent. He did his due diligence, so I just want to give him a shout out. I'm gonna wait because I don't really know the name right now to give him a shout out because it's pretty much his video and his information what he took. I don't know because I didn't go look myself. I ain't got 7 hours to be talking about a nigga that was lying, forgot a book bag. The nigga, all types of shit. I heard it was a book bag involved. I heard niggas talking about buying houses with no money in the bank. I heard the nigga jumped off the plane. Look at that. Heard a nigga got another nigga on the side. Yeah. But that's what I heard. Yeah. But no, it's like, who the fuck did I marry? I heard she married the motherfucking a pathological liar. So I don't know what this all about. So I want to my nosy ass. I want to go see what they all talking about. So enough for me. My antics. Let's get right into what this whole thing is about. Hopefully, he tell us enough that what we need to know. And I'm just gonna wrap my brain around it. Like I said, I ain't got 12 hours to be on TikTok watching stories like that. So hopefully he'll break it down into, pieces that we know. But other than that, y'all already know we almost at 3K. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's go. Let's get to 3K. Y'all already know 100K is around the corner. Like, comment, subscribe. Y'all already know what it is. Let's go. Shout out to Marky. This is his video. Shout out to Marky. I'm just reacting to his video. So let's get right into it and figure out what's going on.
Yes, that's right. I apparently spent 7 hours of my time going through this for this video, so I hope you appreciate it. Now,
I appreciate it. Not trying to take whatever that you did for yourself. Everybody go watch his full video, not trying to sniper take the nigga video or nothing like that. I want never. So let's go.
Seriousness, Risa has a story like no other, and it involves her ex-husband that she calls Legion. And I am going to touch on a bunch of key points in this video, but obviously with the length of it, I'm not going to be covering it all, and also I would highly recommend actually going to Risa's TikTok account to see the full story if you're interested.
We don't want to do that, though. That shit long as hell, man.
An incredible watch. The way she tells stories is brilliant. That's a reason why these videos are getting so many views. And as many of the comments say, once you get a few parts in, you kind of get hooked and you just want to watch it all. So I'm purposely not going to hit every single point possible because it would be far too long, but also because I would highly recommend going to watch the video to get all the points. I'm going to specifically talk about what I see as the
Come on, let's go.
Ignored at the time that she was suspicious of, but there was always enough just to keep her there, like kind of the idea that what Legion is telling her could possibly be true, but spoiler alert, it does involve a ridiculous amount of lies. And we can actually start with the fact that Legion told Risa that he had just moved to Georgia from California because he just got this major job role at a condiment company.
In the first phone call, he told me that he had just moved to Georgia from California from San Diego. His job had transferred him because he was being transferred in as the new regional manager for a major condiment company that is based here in Georgia.
And he also went on to mention more details about his life that are very important later in the story. For example, he said he played arena football. Now, before this, I didn't even really know what arena football was. But he later claims that he made a lot of money from arena football and has a lot of savings because of this. Turns out, you don't actually seem to make that much money from arena football. He also said he used to work at Apple, and because he's got all this money saved up, he is looking for a house now that he's relocated. He went on to mention his ex-wife that apparently cheated on them, so they got a divorce, but he's still close to her kids. And he also made it very clear that he's now at a point in his life where he wants to settle down with a wife, have kids, have a house together and whatnot. Then his whole previous career
sound like a liar. Why you believe somebody like that? Why would come on now? Everything the nigga tell the saying right now is a red flag to me, and I don't know how to But hey,
apparently had in arena football
hey.
comes up a lot. He used to brag about it all the time.
And then he explained that he also did arena football, but only did it for about 2 or 3 years. He claims that while he was doing arena football, the team that he was on won a championship.
Now, long story short, they started getting to know each other and it was all going well, but then we were hit with COVID. This was back in 2020. And they didn't want to quarantine separately, so they decided to move in with each other, and they actually ended up moving into Reese's home. Now, the whole deal here was that Legion was going to pay, like, the utility bills.
So he moved in. We talked about the bills. Let me clear something up that I said in the other video where I said he paid all the bills. He paid all the household bills. He did not pay my car payment, my cell phone, or my car insurance.
But this was all supposed to be temporary because as they were starting to get more serious in their relationship, they started looking for a home to buy. Now, throughout this 50-part series, it becomes very clear that they looked at a ridiculous amount of houses. If I had to guess, because they are all in separate parts and whatnot, it seems like they looked at like 20, 30, 40 houses, specifically actually went to view and try and get like 5 or 6 houses. But there was always a problem when it came to actually getting the house, which was interesting because apparently Legion was incredibly well off. Like, he played arena football, right? He has a massive amount of savings, so much so that he was looking for houses for like 700, 750 grand.
This is when he showed me a letter from Chase with the Chase logo at the top, stating that he had been approved for a mortgage for a $750,000 mortgage or a $750,000 house.
Now, for the most part, Risa didn't take this at face value. A lot of the time, she would ask for proof, and sometimes Legion would be able to give her proof.
I said, so you have the money to pay for a home. I'm also holding in my hand a letter from Chase saying that he was approved for $750,000.
So to Risa, this seems like it's probably going to be quite easy, right? He's approved for a 700 grand home. In fact, the first home they look at is actually $35,000. So it seems like it's a lot cheaper than what Legion can apparently afford, but there's still a lot of troubles. Now, Legion actually told Risa that his offer had been approved, he'd put a down payment on the house, Risa thinks of moving in, and then all of a sudden she gets a call from the realtor asking what she wants to do about the house. Now, obviously at this point, Risa's saying, I feel like we have put an offer in and it's been approved. I thought we put a down payment on it. And the realtor's just confused and being like, oh, I mean, there isn't a down payment. Nothing's been approved here. I'm trying to get this moving, but I haven't really heard anything back. Now, Legion's excuse here was that he didn't go through this realtor that he spoke to originally. He actually went through his mate, who was a realtor, and he wanted to give them the business instead.
When I said, well, did you put the offer in with him or not? And he said, no, I did not put the offer in with him. I put the offer in with a friend of mine who is a realtor, so I can give him the business.
Now, of course, that does seem a bit sketchy, and in hindsight, once you hear about this story, you would think, all right, that should be your first red flag, right?
Right.
But they were early in their relationship, right? She has no reason to think that he's a liar because he hasn't lied yet. He hasn't had enough time to, it seems like. So she goes along with it, and she starts looking for furniture for the house. And she's seeing Legion putting deposits on furniture and appliances and whatnot, so clearly she's thinking, all right, maybe we are going to move into this house, because why else would you put a deposit down?
Right.
I watched him pay a deposit on a whole new set of appliances for them, and they were going to hold it until we were ready for delivery.
And I think one big factor in this whole story that really worked on the favour of Legion and his lies is that this was during COVID, right? So things were delayed left, right and centre. So as soon as something happened that seemed a bit sketchy and maybe it's been postponed, like what's going on here, he could easily just blame COVID, right? Businesses are taking longer than usual because we're all having a quarantine. I believe that's something that you have to bear in mind throughout this whole video, right? It was a completely different time. Now at this point, Risa actually falls pregnant and she really wants to get this move sorted, right? If she's going to be having a child,
she didn't have a baby by the nigga. God damn it. She didn't got a she didn't thought she was getting a fucking house and had a baby by the nigga. Nigga done bought her some appliances. They done moved in together. She done busted all open for the nigga. God damn it. God damn.
There's a bunch of excuses left, right, and centre. She's starting to get a bit impatient. But then all of a sudden, Legion says they have a date to move in.
Then he said that we were set to close the end of May.
And she keeps mentioning the fact throughout the story that she was suspicious, right? She's thinking, right, what if he's lying? But then she would also think in her mind, what if she isn't lying? Like,
how are y'all buying a house and you don't know what's going on? Don't they need your information too, or the nigga just buying a house in his name? Like, what? So you don't want to buy the house with the nigga? You just want the nigga, like she said, hey, you buy the house now, put it in your shit. Because if it's some time, I gotta get the fuck up out of here. I don't want nothing to do with that shit. She said, nigga, leave me out of it.
Liar yet. But obviously, as you can imagine, a lot of time goes by, nothing's really happened, and then she goes onto the website to look at the house listing, and it says that's been closed. So she actually calls the realtor and just pretends to be someone who's slightly interested in the home, just wants some more details, and the realtor says that it's been taken and it's been given to a different couple. So at this point, she knows Legion's been lying.
There is no house. He's going to have to get out of this lie somehow. Because now I realize, at the very least, he was lying about him being the one who was under contract.
Now again, Legion has a bunch of excuses. In fact, in this case, he says that the interest rates were too high. Like, it wasn't a good deal.
The next day I asked him about the house, and he said, my friend, the realtor, he was like, I'm talking to him because something's going on with the interest rate. And when he said that, I felt so much relief because I knew that I had been prepared for he's gonna give you some bullshit.
Now, at this point in the story, I want to keep it as brief as possible.
She already knows. She like, hey, this nigga about to lie like a motherfucker.
You should definitely hear Risa talk about. But she goes on to say that she unfortunately had a miscarriage and she has to have some treatment at the hospital.
Oh,
right?
wow.
Obviously a heartbreaking situation. But when she goes on to ask
she knew she wouldn't get that out. She
drop her
said,
off at the hospital,
where the stairs at?
He goes on to say that he's got a really important meeting at work.
Okay, I'm not gonna laugh about that. I'll take that joke back. My mind just go everywhere. My bad. Nobody wants to laugh and joke about no miscarriage, stuff like that. Sorry on her behalf. I know how bad stuff like that is. You know, jokes just be coming out. I didn't mean, but, in my head, I'm like, she ain't get that damn house. She said, this nigga be lying. Nothing. We gonna leave it alone.
He's been promoted to the vice president of the company. And because of this, he's not going to drop her off, which is disgusting, especially when we find out that this whole story is a lie. And in fact, Risa goes on to try and message him throughout the day, but she's just having to text his assistant, which again, doesn't exist. Where his apparent assistant is saying that he's in a meeting and he can't talk right now. And remember, she's going through something completely heartbreaking at this point. Even the doctors are trying to get in touch with him whilst Risa's going through recovery, which took about 3 hours at the hospital. They were trying to get in touch with him to come and pick her up, and eventually he actually did. Now, Risa goes on to say that a few weeks have went by and they're trying to look for a house again. But this time when they find a house, Legion says he's just gonna pay for it in cash because he's got all these savings from the football, right?
He said that he had the money. Again, the price was $6.99. He said he felt comfortable putting in an all-cash offer.
Which is a ridiculous amount of money to pay up front, right? A 700 grand house up front. You would think he has millions in the bank. And she even sees him sign a contract, so she's thinking, okay, this guy is really rich.
I watched in our bedroom as he pulled it up, because it was a electronic document. He signed his name to the offer for $699,000 cash.
Now, because a similar situation happens quite a few times throughout this story.
What? There's no way that this shit is damn near 50-some parts. That mean he was riding your ass like a roller coaster with us. Like, God damn, if you don't get your ass about that damn house with that loud ass nigga, god damn. Bro, she needed grandma like my grandma. My grandma would have like, is you stupid? My grandma would have hopped on her ass. Like,
I kind of want to sum them up all right now. But there is multiple times where they're trying to look for a house and they actually put an offer in and Legion's like, right, I'll pay for it in cash. But the problem arises when the realtor
cash,
says,
$700,000 cash.
Proof of funds, and then Legion's excuse is, I'm not going to show you the proof of funds until the offer has been accepted. And then pretty much every time the realtor comes back and says, that's not how it works, right? We need to see proof of funds first. And then as you can imagine, the offer then falls through, they don't end up moving. But it wasn't just houses that Legion would be very sketchy with, it was also cars. Risa says that they were constantly test driving cars because Legion told her that his company were going to pay for a business car. They were test driving a bunch of big BMWs, big Audis and whatnot, But of course, there was always an issue. For example, when it actually came down to buying the car, the person who was supposed to wire the money had actually went home for the day.
He waits about 10 minutes. He calls the person back. He says, "Did you get it?" Apparently the person did get it. But the person who can actually physically do the wire transfer had gone home for the day.
And at this point, you might be thinking, like, why is Risa believing him after all these lies? And she
Bruh.
goes on to explain why she was believing him.
Please keep in mind the circumstances that all of this is happening. We're inside the dealership. We're sitting at the desk of this person. He gave us the printout. He's on the phone, doing business, basically saying, "Look, this is how much money the car is going to cost." He's taking a picture of it. He seemingly is texting someone saying, "This is how much, this is proof of how much it is." Then he asked the BMW salesperson, "I need your wire transfer information." The guy got up, rushed over to, I guess, their finance area to get the bank wire information, because obviously you have to wire it a certain kind of way.
Yeah, so he was really going out of his way to try and make this stuff.
Way,
legit.
bro, this nigga was going out of his way to. What the? No shots at you at all, sweetheart. But you ain't no Beyonce. Come on now, like goddamn, like this nigga out here lying like he got Rihanna on the side of some shit. Like goddamn, shorty.
And being like, right, I'm gonna buy a car. Oh no, I actually can't. There's a problem with the wire transfer. He was going to the dealerships with like business printouts saying that his company's gonna buy
bet
a
this
car.
nigga looked
He was
like Rick
supposed to be
James.
texting people. He would ask the dealership for the wire transfer money. Like, he was going to different lengths. There was also another situation involving a car where he was going to buy Risa a brand new Audi. Then on the day that it was supposed to be delivered, there was apparently a problem with the truck. It was stuck on the truck and it couldn't be delivered. A bunch more time goes by and
You let this nigga get away with all these lies. All these lies, bro. The nigga's supposed to buy you an Audi. The day it's supposed to got delivered, he say something happened with the truck. If this nigga... This nigga like the opposite of Final Destination. Y'all ever see that movie Final Destination? Like when the shit's don't supposed to happen, when the shit's supposed to happen, it just don't happen to this nigga. Like, bro, what the fuck? Like, I'm gonna go buy a car. Oh shit, the wire. Like this nigga is a liar or he just got super bad luck. And we all know the truth. Why is Shorty believing this nigga, bro? That is crazy to me, bro.
just gives up with the whole situation. It's like, right, forget it, I'll buy my own car. And at this point in the story is where we actually find out about his family. He tells Risa that he has multiple siblings. I believe he says that he has 4 brothers and 2 sisters. One of these brothers he speaks to for hours every single day on the phone. And even though Risa can see that he's on the phone to someone for hours, she can only hear Legion's perspective.
I could hear him with the phone up to his ear talking to someone, because it wasn't me.
And we also find out that at the time of Risa and Legion being together, he claims that his grandmother passed away. And now we will find out later in this video that that's not entirely true. His grandmother had passed away, but it was many years before this.
The grandmother passed away. He called me around April or May and told me that his grandmother passed away.
Now at this point, a bunch more time goes by, and both their families want them to get married because both their families are religious.
Okay. I understand, bro. I know how women is. I got a lot of women in my family. It's either she's making this situation seem worse than what it is. Cause you just don't stay with a nigga that every situation is something. The nigga had to be coming through on something. When I say had to be, he had to be showing some type of money, folks. He had to be buying something. He had to be spending his money on something. Bro, there's no way I'm believing that every single thing that he told this woman that he was going to do, that it fell through. Because if that's the truth, Shorty, why the hell are you telling us? You need to go get checked out because you believe, bro, this nigga gotta be the nigga in her dreams or something. Cause she down to listen to everything this nigga is saying, folks. Like, I know they probably not fucking with each other now, and she probably making this seem like he the most worst nigga ever. Cause I'm not going. This don't come on. You don't continuously follow a person that continuously keep lying to you every situation, bro. Bro, I know so many females that would have been like off the second lie. Would have been like, this nigga is a liar. I'm gone. Come on, bro. He had to be coming through with something. Had to.
Living together, obviously Risa had fell pregnant with him. She thought, right, we need to get married, and that's what they did. And when filing for this marriage, Legion had to write down his social security number.
See, that's what I'm saying. You don't marry a nigga that ain't doing nothing for you, folks. Folks, what is she on, G? Come on now. You not just about to get pregnant by a nigga and marry a nigga if the nigga ain't coming through with something, folks. Something. Nah, bro. Nah, bro. Nah, brother.
What's going on?
Nah, brother. She tripping, brother.
Him and nothing comes up. Like, no criminal history.
And I did a background check. I did a background check after I had filed a marriage license. Yes, I know, but I did. The background check, nothing came back.
But of course, the marriage goes through, and within the same month of them getting married, Risa started to notice big changes in Legion's behaviour. Like, for example, he'd ring her while she's at work, and if he heard a male's voice, he would freak out.
You know, he would call me every day.
Oh, shit. Don't tell me the nigga started beating on her. No, shit. Now that we married, oh my mama, you better. Who your husband? Who your work husband? She didn't marry the psycho.
But he would call me every day from work. And if he even so much as heard a male voice in the background, he would have little comments to me. Who was that? Are they in your office? You know, man, you know, I never know who's around you.
And again, this becomes a pattern, and Risa says that Legion was always just trying to get a reaction out of her. And whilst we're talking about patterns, Risa also says throughout these videos that she believes the reason why Legion would say like, oh, let's get a house, a car, stuff that he can't afford, knowing fine well it would never go through, is because he seemed to get off on the fact that Risa would get really excited for something, right? Like a car or a house, and then he would like the fact that she would be let down. Now, obviously, that's her whole take on the situation, but if that is true, I mean, I don't need to explain to you how disgusting that is.
That is wild,
Risa went out to get her nails done, and she actually got a phone call from Legion claiming that her ex had showed up to the house in his car looking for her. Now, obviously, Risa was freaking out about this, being like, why would my ex show up? I don't speak to him anymore. In fact, I haven't dated anyone for a year before I even started dating you. And she thinks something isn't adding up here, so she actually goes to her neighbour, knowing fine well that they have a security camera that overlooks Risa's driveway, and asks them to take a look. Like, did anyone show up today? To which the neighbour says no one ever did.
Maybe about a couple of hours later, she texted me back and said, hey, I looked at the camera, but I didn't see anything.
Now, there's a bunch more suspicious behaviour that happened.
Bro, this nigga is a weirdo, bro. If you get away from Malcolm DX, bro, go fuck around and shoot your ass.
Be here forever, and I would highly recommend watching the whole series if you want to see all of that. But there's a lot more lies and inconsistencies that keep happening that she mentions in the series. But this is where we get to a point where Risa's actually looking for a new job, and because she's getting a new job, they need to know some details of her spouse. One of these details is a social security number, so Legion writes it down, and Risa notices it's different than the one he gave before. So she goes to do another background check and notices that it looks like Legion has never even lived in California. And because of this, she actually rings up San Diego State and confirms he never went there.
This person is saying that they were a student there. Can you verify it? The response I got was there were no records found with that social security number.
And when confronted about this, Legion actually says that his dad paid money so his name and social wouldn't be publicized.
This man said, well, I was a private citizen. What the fuck does that mean? And what he said is that when he started at San Diego State, his father paid money so that, okay, it's important I say this with a straight face. His father paid money so that his name and social would not be publicized and he would be considered a private student, a private citizen.
Which, of course, in hindsight sounds absolutely ridiculous, but this is just one of many, many lies that Legion told.
Bro, she dated
some of these lies were a lot more disgusting than others, and for example, he then went on to lie about the fact that his stepdaughter passed away.
He calls me from work, calls me while I'm at work, and tells me that he got a phone call from his stepson. The phone call from his stepson, the stepson was crying and was just absolutely distraught. And I'm at work in my office like, what's going on? And he says to me that the stepson informed him that his stepdaughter passed away.
Now, it's not until quite a bit further in the series we find out that that was just a complete lie, but it seems like the reason he decided to lie about this is because he then goes on to say, can we take some money out of our joint account to send to the mother for the funeral? Now, I think it's safe to assume that if this story is true, it seems like he just sent the money to himself, right? Which again, if this story is true, is a lie that I don't even think some of the most disgusting people would ever even lie about. Like, that is genuinely as low as it gets. Now, Risa's getting more and more suspicious as the days go on. Obviously, she's doubting things in her head, right? She's thinking, there's no way that anyone would lie about something that serious, but some things aren't adding up. So she does some more digging into his social security number and finds divorce records from his ex-wife. She then finds out that there's nothing about cheating. Of course, Legion said the reason they broke up was because she cheated on him. She also notices in the filing that he was apparently too poor to actually pay for any of the divorce. Now, of course, that definitely doesn't add up to the fact that he apparently had enough money to pay for a 700 grand house in cash. It's also worth mentioning throughout this story, Risa is asking to see his bank statements, and he is showing bank statements with money in it. I mean, that does get explained later in the video, but he is showing proof. But she ends up calling the ex-wife that's on the records anyways to try and see if things add up, and the ex-wife is pretty simple. She says, look, he is lying about everything he's told you. He's never lived in California, he's always lived in Georgia, she didn't cheat on him, but the most sickening lie of them all, her stepdaughter's fine.
I asked her, how was your daughter?
This
She said,
nigga
"My
is
daughter's
a
fine."
So now knowing that Legion is
I
lying
don't wanna
about
say the
this,
word,
I
but
think
this
it becomes very
nigga
clear
is
that he's not scared to lie about
special.
anything. So Risa then looks up his mother's and his grandmother's obituary, and it becomes very clear that there's no sisters to be seen. Of course, he said he had 4 brothers, 2 sisters. The sisters don't exist. He also only has 2 brothers, not 4. And even on top of that, the grandmother, who apparently passed away whilst they were in this relationship, actually died in 2008.
Bro.
She then decides to look through his phone and sees a bunch
Bro, this nigga is like one of those people who think they see people and hear people. Bro, if she don't put her running shoes on and get the hell up out of
to what she says it is a
out of
prostitute,
Dodge.
and he's thanking her for a service and it's like a price list and whatnot. So of course, as you can imagine, Risa's had enough at this point, right? She kicks him out the house.
He was like, so what you saying? You don't want to be married to me anymore? And I
Yes,
said,
that's what I'm saying, goofy
I
ass
don't
nigga.
want to be married to you anymore.
What you scared
I
to tell a
said-
nigga for?
We need to go our separate ways.
But she hasn't went through all the details. She just wants to get him out the house as quickly as possible. And this goes on for a while where he's saying, look, I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to leave. She's starting to get a lot more angry, saying you need to leave. But he finally does leave, and a few days go by, and his cousin actually reaches out to Risa to ask, like, what the fuck has happened here? And this is where she makes it very clear that his family aren't exactly on great terms with him because they know he is a pathological liar. And in fact, the story that Legion is now telling his family is that he found out that Risa was cheating on him with a law enforcement officer, and that law enforcement officer threatened Legion with his weapon to leave the house.
He's telling the family that I kicked him out after he walked in on me having an affair, that I stole his money, and I then kicked him out, and the man I was having an affair with, he
Wow.
said was a law enforcement officer who used his duty weapon to threaten him to get out the house.
But because Legion's family knows he's a liar, they don't believe this at all anyway, so they carry on speaking to Risa to find out what else he's been lying about. Apparently this brother that Legion speaks to on the phone every single day for hours on end absolutely hates him. They don't get along. So according to Risa, he's just pretending to be on the phone for ages, claiming that he's speaking to his brother when he's not. Risa goes on to ask about these 2 sisters. Turns out they don't even exist. One of the sisters' names was actually Kim, which turns out to be the cousin's daughter. It's not Legion's sister. And again, Legion and Kim don't get along. Of course, there's 2 brothers, not 4, and in fact, one of his brothers is actually his twin that seems to have a very similar lifestyle to what Legion is trying to represent. And Legion's older brother apparently believes that Legion is just trying to copy his twin's lifestyle, and they're the made-up stories. And then there's some further details that have also confirmed, like the grandmother actually died in 2008, it wasn't recent. Also, Legion's uncle that he
2008,
speaks a lot
cuz!
about like financial advice and whatnot actually died in 2010, and there was even a cousin that he claimed that he speak to that had apparently died a long time ago. So of course Risa is just trying to get this divorce.
Bro, this nigga seeing ghosts, bro. If she don't get her ass out of this nigga seeing ghosts, bro. This nigga on heavy duty drugs. Heavy duty.
But she meets up with Legion again about a week later at like a UPS store to sign a divorce papers, and she notices the state of his car. And she says it becomes very clear that Legion has been living out of his car.
I saw the condition of the inside of the car, And that's when I knew he's been living in his car.
And obviously, this doesn't add up with the fact that Legion apparently has a load of money. We all know by now that's apparently a lie. And in fact, Risa goes on to say that Legion apparently left a bag at the house where she notices, like, the jobs don't add up, right? He had different jobs to what he claimed. He was actually a construction worker working on the building that he claimed he worked at, just a different job completely. She also says that there's paperwork for weekender jail. I didn't know what this was, but apparently it's when someone does like a non-violent crime, they can get weekender jail, where they go into the jail for the weekends. I didn't know that existed. But of course, that doesn't add up with the fact that when she did the background check on Legion's original social security number, it said he had no criminal history, hence why he would probably lie about that. She then goes on to look through his work phone that he had left at the house and finds the screenshots of like the bank statements and whatnot, you know, him proving his funds. Also, he had shown her pictures previously of like a car he used to own and a house he used to own. She then decides to reverse Google search his images, finds out they're just all on Google.
And what I see is what looks like a screenshot of his checking account, the one that I saw with the available balance. Then there's another photo of the screenshot of the savings that he showed me.
Y'all
Either
females
one
is out here
is not
easily
real,
to get
and
duplicate.
it was pulled offline.
I
Or
need it,
two,
bro.
he took a screenshot of his own account and saved the photo. I did a reverse Google image search. Sure enough, as you probably have figured out, some of you, because I read it in the comments, what he showed me when he turned his phone around, showing me his available checking account balance, was nothing more than a screenshot that he had found on Google.
And then Legion's lies allegedly get a lot more disturbing, because Legion's aunt, who's not really his aunt, but he said it's his aunt this whole time, has now actually reached out to Risa to ask what happened, and she says like, oh, I thought you had a kid together. Now, obviously, Risa had a miscarriage, but Legion never told his aunt that. In fact, he lied and said that the kid's fine and that they'll be able to see each other sometime.
She said, I've seen him like 4 or 5 times. He's come down here, and each time I've asked him to bring the baby. And I said, what baby? And she said, the baby
This
that
nigga, the dirty.
told me that y'all had a baby boy.
Which again, I obviously don't need to explain it to
Bro, this
anyone,
nigga
but
seeing
is
ghosts is for real,
so
bro.
fucking disturbing, especially when you add it onto everything else that he's lied about. I genuinely can't fathom how a person would ever lie about stuff like this, but apparently this has been happening. But this is where we start getting to the end of the story. The divorce is still pending, and Legion starts ringing Risa saying, look, you're actually not legally allowed to kick me out the house. Apparently he's had some legal advice from someone that says that he wasn't allowed to be kicked out, so he's now going to force his way back in. Now, of course, as anyone would, Risa rings the police and says like, look, we need to be able to do something about this, and it turns out the police actually had a warrant for Legion's arrest. So the police tell Risa, when Legion
dumbass,
give us a ring and we'll arrest him, and that's what she does.
They tell me to sit in the car. They go up to the window of the car and get him, ask him to step out of the car. There was no incident or anything like that. He was arrested peacefully.
But it turns out Legion is actually released not long after because the warrant had actually expired. But thankfully for Risa's sake, the divorce had actually now been confirmed at this point.
And I'm smiling right now, but y'all, when I got that divorce decree sitting on the stairs, I broke down into ugly Oprah tears.
Now, since these videos went viral, and when I say viral, by the way, I mean that pretty much every single part out of all the 50 that got uploaded have over 1 million views. There's the odd couple that don't. Most have over 1 million, a lot have over 2 million. Which is ridiculous when you bear in mind how many parts there is, right? That's a crazy amount of views.
Man.
But since it did go that viral, clearly people tried to work out who Legion was. And they did find out. People started posting his Facebook everywhere, and I'm not going to show that in the video for obvious reasons. And in fact, Risa did a live stream talking about the fact that his personal information had been leaked, and she wishes that it never happened, and she even asked the account that originally posted to delete the video, and they refused.
I am aware that his information was put out there.
Bro, I'm gonna go ahead and end it right there. Y'all want to see the rest of the video? Y'all go to Marky. He's trying to get to 500,000. Y'all go in there, subscribe to him, because he did the diligence on this story. I'm just gonna keep it a bean, bro. It's some stupidity on her as well, bro. Don't shoot the messenger. Hey, because like, how can a nigga continuously keep lying to you like that? You don't even care, bro. Well, obviously she cared, but like, come on, bro. And me personally, the nigga had to be coming through on something, G. On something, because like, how the fuck is this nigga lying every day, bro. But hey, maybe she's a good woman, and y'all already know good woman go to the most deadbeat ass niggas, bro. And the most goodest niggas go to the most deadbeat ass women, bro. That's just what it is, bro. But I'm gonna go ahead and end this video right here. This has been a long video, bro, and that's crazy. Who the hell did I marry? Damn, Legion on a whole. That's Legion of Doom. We gonna call this nigga Legion of Doom because this nigga just wow. But this nigga said, "Oh, my son, cool." What? She said, "What, baby?" Bro, this nigga seeing ghosts. This nigga seeing 13 ghosts, folks. This nigga wild, bro. If they don't check that man out, bro, that nigga gonna be like, my grandma's standing right next to me. They gonna be like, lock this nigga up. They're like, this nigga freaking me out. Lock this nigga up. I gotta go see how this nigga look, bro, because this nigga gotta be a weird looking ass nigga, bro. Just to be off something like that, bro. Bro, come on, man. Like, come on, bro. But we're gonna go ahead and end it right there. Y'all like, comment, subscribe. More videos on the way. We almost at that 3K mark. Let's get the channel to 10K fast as possible, bro. Come on, man. Y'all gonna watch it. Let's subscribe. Y'all already know how I get down. Comment below where y'all want me to react to next. Other than that, I'm out. Love y'all. Love y'all. Stank.